Good afternoon, Mayor Buddy Dyer. It's September the 21st, 2020. It is 2 o'clock, and today we have three meetings of the Orlando City Council. We have an agenda review meeting that will be followed immediately by our City Council meeting, and then at 5:01 we have our second budget hearing. So let's begin today with agenda review. Madam Clerk, do we have any members of the public that would like to address items on the consent agenda?
Yes, Mayor, we have four speakers. The first speaker is Scott Ricker on item B5. Please state your name and address for the record. You have 5 minutes to speak.
Great, thank you. Can you hear me fine?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Great. Good afternoon. I'm Scott Ricker, government banker at JP Morgan Chase Bank. Our offices are located next door to City Hall at 450 South Orange Avenue, Orlando, Florida. Our request to speak during the public comment period is in reference to the recent banking services RFP that you're voting on today. First, I would like to acknowledge the professionalism of both your finance staff at the city as well as the procurement staff. Throughout the process, our interactions with city staff have been very professional and have always been representative of what you would expect from the city of Orlando. You may be aware that we have been supportive of the city through our financing efforts for both direct lending and investment banking, while also being very active in the community. And we had been eagerly awaiting this opportunity. From the initial evaluation, it was clear to the evaluation committee that we had provided a very strong proposal as we were ranked first and met all of the requirements as outlined in the request for proposal. During the initial vote, JP Morgan ranked first, followed by Bank of America and Wells Fargo. JP Morgan was acknowledged for our technology, our local coverage, and our ability to integrate with the city's current ERP system. Bank of America's issues with customer service were highlighted by the committee, and the committee agreed to move forward as they only wanted a presentation of product demos and reference checks from all three banks. During the subsequent meeting and in the final vote, the decision to stay with the incumbent was made and appeared to be based more on the fear of change rather than of value. We believe our proposal provided the best overall value to the city, and we're deeply disappointed in the decision not to change banks at this time. This is the second time that we've been ranked as the cover bid, and we won't see this opportunity for at least another 5 years. It is important to us that you understand our deep commitment to the city, as evidenced by this very strong proposal. We will continue to respond to the needs of the city in future RFPs, but wanted to make you aware of this very special effort and our disappointment in a rather confusing loss. Again, we express our disappointment as we believe the decision was influenced more by the fear of transition rather than the best overall value to the city. We appreciate the opportunity to address this issue with you, and thank you for your time.
Scott, I thank you for being here, and we do appreciate your organization. Madam Clerk.
Next, we have Lorraine Hernandez on item C2. Please state your name and address for the record. You have 5 minutes. We are unable to find Lorraine Hernandez on the queue. So next up, we have Becky Wilson, who is available for any questions.
What item is Becky here for?
C2 as well.
C2.
Mayor, only if there were other comments on C2 did I need to speak?
Okay.
And last, we have Larry Robinson, who is speaking on the CRA. Larry Robinson, please state your name and address for the record. You have 5 minutes to speak. He is also not appearing, so we have no further speakers.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioner Burns, you are first up in the rotation today.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I've been briefed by staff, so I have no further comments on the agenda.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Gray.
Whoa. No comments at this time, thanks.
Commissioner, do you have two devices working?
I think I must.
Commissioner Ortiz?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to check, I guess double check with staff to see if item C2, what pertains to District 2, has been removed from the agenda.
I believe it has, as to the blue apartments.
Yes, sir. That's,
Can you confirm that for us, that that was deleted for the next meeting?
will postpone, yes.
That was the intent, Commissioner Ortiz.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Just in case, let's just state it. I don't remember off the top of my head what the item number is. It's
All right. Yes, I can do it real quick. We still have some things to work out for blue apartments at 5750 Stonewall Jackson Road. So I asked for staff to postpone.
So we've either done that, or if there's no objection, we'll do it right now so that there's a record of it.
Okay. So thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Mr. Stewart?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm okay for consent. For agenda review.
Commissioner Sheehan
Met with staff and I'm good, Mayor. Thank you.
and Commissioner Hill.
Yes, sir. I have met with staff and I'm all good.
Okay, then if there's no objection, we will adjourn our agenda review. And we will launch right into our city council meeting for September 21st. Again, Commissioner Burns, you are first up. So if you would lead us in the pledge and the prayer, that would be great.
All right, thank you, Mayor and fellow commissioners. Over the weekend, we lost two phenomenal women. First, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who, with the exception of Thurgood Marshall, has been the Supreme Court Justice that has done more to realize the Constitution's promise of equal protection of the law than any other. Justice Greenberg carried the torch for women's rights, for the women's rights movement, and achieved far-reaching historic changes to constitutional law. Having been raised by strong women and now raising two daughters of my own, I applaud and thank Justice Ginsburg for doing her part in moving us closer to a more perfect union. Also here locally, we lost a loving, dedicated community advocate in Miss Vincina Kennedy, affectionately known as Miss Vinnie. Miss Vinnie works in our city, speaks for itself. These two phenomenal women will surely be missed. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you this afternoon as we prepare to deliberate and conduct the business of our great city. First, to say thank you. Thank you for your mercy and grace that has allowed this body to convene once again. Thank you for the life of Justice Greenberg and Miss Vinnie, as we will miss them here on earth, but are grateful that their impact to our country and our city will remain for years to come. Lord, I ask that you give us wisdom and insight, that we will collectively make decisions that are in the best interest of the residents of our city. Lord, as we work toward a more perfect city, I petition you for our strength and courage to fight for things that we care about and do it with civility and collegiality that will lead others to join us. Lord, I ask you to keep your hedge of protection around our residents and those of us elected to serve them. With this and other blessings, we ask in your name, amen. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag
of the United
of the United States of America and to the republic which stands
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Burns. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll and make a determination of quorum, please?
Commissioner Gray,
Here.
Commissioner Ortiz,
Here.
Commissioner Stewart,
Here.
Commissioner Sheehan,
Here.
Commissioner Hill,
Here.
Commissioner Burns,
Here.
Mayor Dyer.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum with all members present.
Thank you. Our first order of business is the minutes from the agenda review and
So
city council
moved.
meeting of September 8th.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. We have no awards, presentations, or recognition, so we'll go right into the mayor's update. And Commissioner Burns mentioned a couple items that I'm going to talk about as well. The passing of Justice Ginsburg, and he was very eloquent in his remarks related to that. So I want to talk a little bit about Miss Vinnie Kennedy, who all of us know and love. She was one of our great neighborhood leaders and friends. She's a leader in the Paramore neighborhood. She had a tremendous impact on our community. She really built the Carter Street Neighborhood Association from the ground up and cemented so many of the relationships that are between neighbors and elected officials and city staff. And she really led the neighborhood association to be a thriving association. I'd say one of the best in all of Orlando. She led Sock It To Me every year, which was a effort to distribute socks to the Orlando Union Rescue Mission at Christmas time. She had great national night out parties, established an after-school tutoring program, did cleanup events in Paramore, which were very effective and important. The Neighborhood Association was OPD's Neighborhood Watch of the Year. We started a walking school bus when the K-8 opened, and she was honored in 2016 as our city's Neighborhood Champion of the Year, an award that I know she was proud of and we were proud to bestow on her. So she always had a smile on her face and a positive attitude, and you know that we're going to be missing her, but we're grateful for her legacy and what she did in the Paramore community. And I'm sure Commissioner Hill will have also later remarks. So the other thing, I just want to be mindful, do you know it's been 6 months now that we've been living with this COVID-19, and I could not be more proud of our community. We've brought the positive rate down under 5, which shows great improvement, but we need to continue to be vigilant. We're opening schools, we're opening more bars and restaurants and increasing the capacity. So we need to continue to mask up. The head of the CDC, or one of the organizations I saw, said that right now, while we don't have a vaccine, the most effective thing we have is wearing masks. So I encourage everybody to continue to do what we need to do. And then the last thing I have is a reminder that we do have our second and final budget hearing tonight at 5:01. So with that, we're going to move to consent agenda, and that's a number of items acted upon through a single vote of council. We give each of our council members the opportunity to comment on the consent agenda and update you on items, important happenings from their districts. We rotate the order that we do that, and Commissioner Burns is first up today. Commissioner. You're muted, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you again, Mayor. On this past Saturday, September 19th, I hosted a Census Day of Action at the Smith Center for residents who have yet to complete the census. My staff, along with volunteers, canvassed the neighborhoods around the Smith Center to encourage residents to join me at the Smith Center to complete the census and have lunch on me. Overall, it was a successful day as we had a robust number of residents to join us to fill out the 2020 census. If you have not completed the census, please visit 2020census.gov to complete yours today. As we know, the deadline is September the 30th. Also on Friday, September the 11th, United Against Poverty's mobile market came to the Smith Center to offer large boxes of produce as well as milk for a very small fee. Thanks to Joseph Caesar and the Smith Center staff for partnering with United Against Poverty to help our families in the district who are in need of food assistance. Looking ahead, on October 1, I will host a community town hall with residents of District 6. This will be an opportunity for residents to offer their ideas, comments, and questions and concerns about the district before we head into the holidays. Details will be available soon on my Facebook page. Also, before I end, I want to take a moment to thank our residents and homeowners and neighborhood associations for remaining engaged this year. 2020 has been a challenging year, but I'm grateful that we have so many residents who have stayed in touch with my office to lend their thoughts, alert me of issues in the district, or just offer new ideas. I've said since the pandemic started that we'll get through this together, and District 6 has stayed true to that. So thanks to District 6 for continuing to help me push our district forward. Also, Mayor, on the consent agenda, as you all are aware, for a number of years, I have served as the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Healthcare Center for the Homeless. And item A3 on today's consent agenda is a funding agreement with the Healthcare Center for the Homeless for some outreach and navigation, homeless outreach services. For several years, the city has provided grant funding to the Healthcare Center for the Homeless, and the Healthcare Center for the Homeless will again be receiving grant funding through this agreement. I like to note that none of my compensation will come from the funds received pursuant to the funding agreement, and that I have not participated in any manner in any way. Additionally, I have filled out the necessary Form 8B, Memorandum of Voting Conflict with the City Clerk, and will be abstaining from voting on that item. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Gray.
Thank you, Mayor. Issues in my district, I try to put on my website, so I would refer people there. I do want to talk about one agenda item, and I'm sorry I didn't speak about it during agenda review. I had a little technical difficulty, but it's item F2, and that's the affordable housing deal. And look, we all know we need affordable housing. Heck, I agreed to sit on the Affordable Housing Committee. But guys, this program, which acknowledges a federal, state, and local program, this LIHTC, is just a flawed program. And the reason I say that is simply the cost. We're trying to build 116 affordable units. And when you take just simple math, the total cost divided by the number of units, it's costing $213,000 per affordable unit. We got to do better than that. It's too expensive. We can get more units, cheaper costs. I admit it's the program. I know what it is. It's just a flawed program. And this request is for something we previously approved, but costs went up $1.2 million, of which $600,000 is the developer's profit. So that program, just by definition, is not something that I can support. And I'm sorry, I'm all in for affordable housing. But we've got to send a message to the feds and to the state that this program benefits the wrong people. We need to be getting more housing units for folks. And speaking from the development community, this is way too lucrative for the developers. There is risk involved. People need to be paid for risk, but it doesn't make sense to me when costs go up $1.2 million, half of that goes to developer profit. Even though it is deferred, it's still developer profit. So with that, I'm going to vote against F2 just to send a message that we've got to deal with this. And with that, Mayor, that's all I have. Thank you.
Commissioner Ortiz.
Thank you, Mayor. I definitely going to start also with Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I mean, this woman was amazing, and is a great loss to this nation. The job that she did during her career and the legacy that she has left is just something for people to emulate. And there's 3 quotes that I, if you give me the chance, I love to go ahead and recite them. And very quick, one is, so often in life, things that you regard as an impediment turn out to be great, good fortune. Second one, fight for the things that you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you. What an amazing quote. And the last one, women will have achieved true equality when men share with them the responsibility of bringing up the next generation. Wow. So I just want to leave everybody with those quotes, because these are things to really think about. and also think about her life and reflect on her life and her achievements. Anyhow, moving along, on Thursday, September 10th, we hosted our bi-weekly Neighborhood Leaders Zoom meeting. Our housing and community development team joined us to discuss the Orlando Cares program with our residents, and they did an outstanding job. I shouldn't even say that because that's to be expected. They did a great job. I want to give a huge thanks to Mr. Oren Henry and Ms. Cassie Bernard for accompanying us and always being willing to assist. They did a great job. On Tuesday, September 15th, I attended the Mega TV ribbon cutting. Mega TV is a Puerto Rico-based Latino television broadcaster which has expanded to Miami and now the city of Orlando. Their expansion is creating 50 new positions, 20 directly and 30 indirectly. Even during these challenging times, executives and business owners continue to invest in our local economy, and it makes me extremely proud to be a commissioner for the city of Orlando. On Thursday, September 17th, the Tri-County League of Cities hosted a virtual general membership meeting. Thank you, Commissioner Stewart and Bakari Burns, for being in there, and some of our other members from our staff, Kathy and Kyle Shepard. I was given the opportunity to speak and outline my vision for the Florida League of Cities as a new president. Our organization continues to stay connected and will keep moving forward with our mission for the present and future of the municipalities of the Tri-County area and the state. So with that being said, Mayor, I'm good to go. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor, and I appreciate the opportunity to share my thoughts about Ruth Bader Ginsburg as well. There are very few people, when we go back and look over our generation, that had the impact on our lives through the role of the justice system. And so I'm so grateful for her leadership. I'm grateful for what she has meant to the board for almost 25 years. But most importantly, grateful for the leadership that she has provided for women and women equality. So it just means a lot to me personally. Let me wish Shana Tova to our residents who practice the Jewish faith. It's last week was the Jewish New Year, and then it's Rosh Hashanah, and then this week is the Yom Kippur, and get a chance to share in that portion of our faith with our Jewish neighbors. Special thanks to the city of Orlando and Orlando Magic leadership for allowing the Amway Center to serve as a voting location for the November general election. I think it's going to be important for us to do that. It's a great idea. If you want to come to a cool place to vote, you can. And at the same time, it'll be large area, it'll be socially distanced. I think that you can begin to register now, and I think the October 5th is the deadline for registering for vote. That in mind, it also reminds us of the role of census. So thank you, Commissioner Burns, for what y'all did last weekend. I appreciate that great example. We're going to follow that example in District 3, and we will be doing a special 9 to noon event at our community centers in Rosemont and in College Park. We've been sending out flyers. We've been sending out all kinds of media to make sure that we have one last push. People can come in if they don't have access to computers and go ahead and do the census right online. We'll have some census workers available for that. Look for more information that come from the city. I appreciate the support of our staff to help us get that out. As to some other things that have come up, the Virginia Drive Live is back, and it's going to be this Saturday, September 26th, beginning at 5 p.m. over at Ivanhoe Village. With that in mind, we'll be over in Ivanhoe Village celebrating moving of a couple of businesses. The mayor and I will be doing Oxford Eyes is moved, and then we also have Maffrey's, which is also moved. And it's good seeing some of these businesses starting to work and expand, and helps us get a little bit back to normal as best we can. But the Virginia Drive Live, you can stroll through the streets and enjoy vendors, food vendors, and drink stations as well. It'll be a great event. I'm glad to see that coming back. District 3's virtual National Night Out will be Tuesday, September 29th at 7:30. I want you to check the orlando.gov/police for information, or call your neighborhood watch department to find out how your neighbors can still come together and learn how you can play an important part in keeping our neighborhood safe and taking a bite out of crime, even when we can't be together in person. So make sure you're a part of that standpoint. Mayor, I don't have anything else on the consent agenda, although I'll share a couple of things on the CRA when it comes up. And I appreciate the staff working with me with my calendar last week. It was kind of crazy. So thank you very much.
Okay, Commissioner Stewart. Thank you, Commissioner Sheehan.
Well, thank you, Mayor Dyer, and I'd like to add to the words of my colleagues on the passing of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And if you don't understand why women's rights are important, it's because you've not been denied the right to vote, the ability to get credit or a mortgage in your own name, the ability to get a business loan, the ability to participate in sports, the ability to marry the person that you love. Justice Ginsburg had a part in all of that. Part of it was as a young attorney who sued for the rights of women. Some of them were decisions she made on the Supreme Court. She was a shining example of fighting for equality. And some of my conservative friends say, we disagree on politics. And I say, if we're talking about the rights of women and the rights of other minorities, I say we don't have a disagreement on politics. We have a disagreement on fairness, on principle, and on decency. I am no less than you because of my gender. And I want to thank you, RBG, for your tireless advocacy. And as a female elected official, I stand on your shoulders. Rest in peace, Justice. On the agenda today, I also loved on item G1 that we're using the Amway Center as an early voting location. I encourage folks to go register, to not just to register to vote, but to go vote. It's not enough to register to vote. You actually have to go vote. So this is a very, very important election. I'm glad we're making it easier for people to do so by having a very high profile place in the middle of downtown. I think it's a great idea, and I want to thank everyone. Mayor Dyer, thank you for doing this, because I think it's critically important, especially now with COVID. People are a little bit concerned about mailing in their vote. This will be somewhere you can drop off your absentee ballot. You can go vote early. There's just a lot of opportunities here. So I'm delighted to see that we're opening this up. Also today on the agenda, item J1 and J2, the SOTA right-of-way improvements. I want to thank Marty Hudson, the SOTA Board, Neighborhood Improvement District, for all the great things that they've been doing. And these are just codifying some of the actions that they're taking on that. And with that, Mayor, that's all I had. Thank you.
All right, and Commissioner Hill.
Thank you, Mayor Dyer. And council, as we approach the end of September, as it was stated earlier, I would like to urge the community to make sure that they've been counted. Our 2020 census is very important. As you heard everyone saying, you can still have time and you can go to census2020.gov. And mostly everyone has spoke so eloquently of Justice Ginsburg, which I call the notorious, and many people do, the notorious RBG. And her dedication towards equality and justice. But I think there was 2 times, and I think it was one when I heard about Justice Ginsburg and Princess Diana dying. And I actually shed tears and just was, disturbed by her passing. We knew she was gonna go. But what I admire most about Justice Ginsburg is that she fought the good fight all the way to the end. And even though she was facing death, she kept getting up. Even though her body ached and her bones were aching, her ribs was breaking. She had pneumonia continuously. Her immune system was suppressed. She kept getting up and going to work. And that to me shows true leadership when you put something before yourself. And I think out of all the other great things she did, getting up and looking death in the eye and saying, I still got to get up because the people need me. That just resonates with my soul, because I know many of us here, you know, no matter what we go through in life, how personal or whatever, we get up and keep coming to City Hall to make a difference. No matter what party lines or what agendas other folks have, we get up and go. So I applaud the council. You know, it's been a rough 6 months for all of us, some a little bit more than others, but we keep getting up and come and do the people's work. So as Commissioner Sheehan said, we do step, not just a female, but as a leader. I applaud her efforts to the moment she almost died. And then Mayor Darrell, you just spoke so eloquently about Miss Vinnie, as we called her, Miss Vincina Vinnie Kennedy. And I can tell you, Mayor, I know she probably told you before, but Miss Vinnie loved herself some Mayor Dyer. She loved herself some Mayor Dyer. You best not say anything about Mayor Dyer in one of those meetings. You might get put out the door. And she loved this city. She loved City Hall. She respected communications. Those girls were her girls, April and Michelle and Susan, and throughout. I mean, she really was family. And what I love about Miss Vinnie was that she was a great mediator between the community and between government. And what she did by almost single-handedly with a few other seniors there in Paramore in 2015, that Carter Street Neighborhood Association had been dormant for 20 plus years. And I remember her coming to speak with me and Susan and Michelle and said that she wanted to revitalize that neighborhood association. She put her blood, sweat, and tears in it, and her other senior members, and they made that community there in Paramore respected once again, with her efforts working with the city and working with at that time Chief Mina, and then also Chief Ralone, by transforming the hopes and dreams of the people in Paramore, and by starting to go out and pick up litter along with Orlando City Soccer, Orlando Magic. Even when it was trying, Orlando City Soccer was just getting to town, and certain folk, you know, just wouldn't give them an opportunity. And Miss Vinnie created that bridge to where Kay and all of us went out in the community, and people start to see that they had stake in the community. When they did not want the Orlando Union Rescue Mission in Paramore, or even on the other side of West Colonial, she stuck up for those men and told them they had value, and worked with Mr. Freddie Clayton. And so she started to change the hearts of men and women there in that community. She fought for economic development, you know, and so with that being, she added so much value. I don't know, it's gonna take a while for somebody to fill in Miss Vinnie's shoes, and she even chastised me from time to time, you know, which I appreciated. Sometimes I can be a little hot-headed, and she would calm me down and pull me to the side and nurture me, because I was brand new in politics and not into community service, but on this level. And her wisdom and guidance was just so valuable. So I just want to say I thank the family of Miss Vinnie, thank the Carter Street Paramore Association. I know this city is going to be there for you. You're not alone. We will continue to move forward in Mrs. Vinnie's honor. And I just wanted to say a special prayer for her spouse, Mr. Lonnie, because she was there caring for Mr. Lonnie during his illness. And I know this is going to be a great loss to him, because she was the matriarch of that family. But on Thursday, September the 10th at 5:30, I co-hosted a virtual community meeting with Lift Orlando, which they are now building a wellness center over in the West Lakes community, along with Advent Health. And they are committed to making sure that those contracts that they have there on a multi-million-dollar project is representative of the community, and also doing quite a bit of outreach in the community to make sure that everyone has an opportunity. On Tuesday, September the 15th at 6 p.m., the Blueprint, along with myself and Valencia College, conducted an outreach for our latest accelerated skills training, which we introduced a new program at the Paramore Downtown Accelerated Campus, which is IT network support specialist training and the medical office specialist, along with CDL courses. And as you know, in partnership with Career Source, most of these trainings are from 4 to 26 weeks. Tuition is paid, and through the support of council and the leadership of Mayor Dyer, we have a stipend program in place with the partnership of the Urban League. And later that next day, on the 17th, I had the honor of being with Mayor Dyer, Commissioner Stewart, along with Commissioner Ortiz, where we congratulated 32 more graduates of our Blueprint program. They stretched all the way from District 1 through District 6. It was well represented. Some of those testimonials were just heartwarming and phenomenal, and we should be proud. Speaking to the other commissioners, please push this program. There is so many different avenues, especially now with COVID. And there's some COVID funds attached there with Career Source. So I think we really need to push this. People are now graduating from that course. It's a 98% job placement rate there at Valencia. They're doing a phenomenal job. We have had since last October, when you approved the fundings, to current now September, over 100 graduates in the last year from out of that Blueprint. So with that, I believe it's a success. One young lady specifically spoke about her sleeping on the park benches with her kids, then living in her car, never thinking that she'll amount to be anything, had just gotten her GED and heard about this Blueprint program and graduated from the medical assistance program with Valencia. And now she's working at Advent Health, has now a homeowner. She's talked about being able to take her kids places she never thought of and feeling valuable now because she's giving back to society and she's a taxpayer. So, and that was just one out of many stories that this program has created. So thank you all for your support. It's our program. As I stated earlier about the 2020 census, I was able to partner with the organization, and we did a major food drop on September the 16th, and the mayor's office led this. And we gave away over 25,000 pounds of donated food to the residents. And it was with One Heart, a nonprofit in the church Under the Sun over in the Rosemont area, Commissioner Stewart. And they were able to do similar to what you all are doing, and Commissioner Bakari Burns has did. It was a drive-through. And while they got their foods, they also did their census. So we're trying to pull out all stops before September 30th. On Friday, September the 18th, I attended the Whitney M. Young virtual luncheon, and it's hosted by the Boy Scouts of America, Central Florida. As you know, myself and Mayor Dyer swore in 5 troops, a total of 50 young men and girls here in the District 5 corridor. But due to COVID, it has been shut down, but they're anxiously awaiting to get back to scouting. A little bit about Whitney M. Young Jr. He was an American civil rights leader who spent most of his career working to end employment discrimination in the United States and turning the National Urban League from a relatively passive civil rights organization to one that is aggressively working towards equitable access to socioeconomic opportunities for historically disenfranchised communities. I'd like to thank them. They awarded me with the award this year, along with Bishop Richardson of the AME Church, and also Steve Hogan. So I was quite honored to be to receive that reward along with such giants as Steve Hogan and Bishop Richardson. So things that's coming up on tomorrow and Thursday, I'll be joining Mayor Dyer, Mayor Dimmons, Commissioner Simplin in the Center for Multicultural Wellness and Prevention as they present their 17th Annual Caribbean Health Summit. You can feel free to Zoom in on that on Tuesday, on Thursday afternoon and Tuesday at noon also. And then Saturday, we will be having a free COVID-19 testing at Barnett Park. And for registration, you can log on at www.capcmwp.org, or you can go to my Facebook page for District 5. Then on Monday, September the 28th at 6 p.m., I will be doing and having a virtual national night out. So this year, you know, it's a little bit different. I'll have some more information on my Facebook page on how you can tune in and Zoom in for this auspicious occasion. And with that, Mayor, I'll move the agenda.
Second. Mayor, you're muted.
Thank you, Commissioner Sheehan. Before we vote on the motion, we had a motion by Commissioner Hill and a second by Commissioner Sheehan. I need to clean up just a couple of things. Commissioner Ortiz, did you have one additional item you needed to comment on?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, and I apologize for the, I guess, changing the sequence. It's just, first of all, let me congratulate commissioners who are holding events under commission, under district for the census. We have, and I forgot to make this announcement, tomorrow and on Wednesday from 9 to 4 in the afternoon at the Englewood Center, 6123 La Costa Drive, we're going to have a census drive. Well, people will be able to drive through their vehicles. We're going to have iPads. We're going to give them to go ahead and fill out the census, those who have not, and help them if they need some directions. So everybody's invited. Commissioners, if you want to stop by, more than welcome to come over. And Mayor, it's going to be an event, a last effort to see if we can get people registered, because the numbers we have are definitely not the numbers that we're supposed to be having. So with that being said, thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity, and thank you, Commissioners.
Okay. Madam Clerk, I guess there was some confusion about who had signed up for speaking from the public. Do you have someone that was present that we didn't get to?
Yes, my apologies. We called on Lorraine Hernandez and the name should be Norman Nash. So Mr. Nash, please state your name and address for the record. You have 5 minutes to speak.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate your indulgence. My name is Norman Nash. I'm an attorney with DeBobian, Simmons, Knight, Manzares, and Neal here in Orlando. The address is 332 North Magnolia, excuse me, Orlando, Florida, 32801. First of all, I want to apologize. The confusion was on our end. My assistant, Lorraine Hernandez, when she filled out the request form, she mistakenly put her name in instead of mine. So that was our error, and I appreciate your indulgence in allowing me to speak. I want to speak on item C2, which is approval of the MPB meeting minutes from August 18th, 2020, and one specific item, which is case number MPL 2020-10034. It's generally denominated as the 389 North project. It's a mixed-use project at the northeast corner of East Livingston and Orange. I represent 3 ownership groups that have buildings on that same block. One is 332/120 North Magnolia Buildings Partnership LLP. One is 326 North Magnolia Building Partnership LLP, and the third is 320 North Magnolia Buildings Partnership LLP. We have 4 concerns regarding this project. I raised these issues at the MPB meeting on August 18th. So I'd like to just incorporate those comments by reference. And very briefly, this is a mixed-use project for a 39-story building that will have approximately 10,000 square feet of retail, some 88,000 square feet of office, and some 300 residential units, along with a 539 space parking garage. My client's buildings are on the same block immediately to the east of the project property. Within the project property, there is on its eastern border a 15-foot alley and right-of-way that was dedicated to both the city of Orlando and to my client's prior owners and interests, as well as several other property owners on that block, as a way for ingress and egress to the properties. So we have some concerns that this project may adversely affect our private easement rights. We're very concerned about congestion in the alley. A project of this magnitude presumably will create a massive amount of traffic. The applicant did have a traffic impact analysis done recently, which showed approximately 52 or so extra morning peak trips and about 59 afternoon peak trips, which, given 300 residential units, 88,000 feet of office space, and 10,000 square feet of retail, is rather difficult to believe. We're also extremely concerned about congestion on East Livingston, getting in and out of there. It's a very narrow 2-lane street. And lastly, the MPB at a meeting in November 20th of 2018 on this same project imposed a condition that the applicant's then attorney, prior applicant actually on the same project, and I and their attorney and my clients agreed to, and this condition was imposed. I'm going to read it. Applicant will ensure vehicular access through the alley at a quality no less than what currently exists to the property located at 332 and 326 North Magnolia, to the satisfaction of the owner, that being the owner of my client's properties, as evidenced in writing by the owner. We are working with the applicant on an agreement. We're simply not there yet. So at this stage, we still object to the project as proposed, at least in regards to the issues I've raised today. Again, I appreciate your indulgence. I apologize for the mix-up on our end. And if you have any questions, I do my very best to answer them.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Nash? Thank you for appearing, Mr. Nash. All right, back to the motion.
Mayor, we have one more.
Okay.
Becky Wilson, please state your name and address for the record. You have 5 minutes to speak.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. Just to address Mr. Nash's concerns, as you all are aware, approval of a master plan is a quasi-judicial decision. That decision was rendered at the Municipal Planning Board, and Mr. Nash and his client were present. They had a copy of the agenda and notice of when to timely appeal if they had any concerns with that quasi-judicial decision. They did not appeal the MPB decision, so I don't believe that procedurally that can now be taken up at City Council. Just regard to his specific concerns, the language that we agreed to in November of 2018 was later removed at the Municipal Planning Board because, in fact, we did demonstrate to the Municipal Planning Board that vehicular access through the alleyway continued to be at a quality no lesser than what currently exists. In fact, the current alleyway is 15 feet wide, and my client's approved project extends the alleyway to 24 feet wide, which allows both ingress and egress in a 2-lane configuration. I appreciate your time and happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Wilson. Okay, the motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? So the motion carries unanimously. All right, if there's no objection, we will recess the city council meeting. We'll convene the CRA. The first item of business is accepting the meeting minutes from July 22nd, the advisory board. Was that a motion by Commissioner Sheehan?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Stewart. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. All right, Thomas, start with number 2.
All right, thank you, and good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. Item number 2 today is approving the fiscal year 2020-2021 Downtown Development Board Community Redevelopment Agency cost share agreement. This annual agreement simply outlines the terms under which the DDB and the CRA will share administrative costs. The cost to the DDB for FY 2021 is $414,239. The advisory board has recommended approval. And if there are no questions regarding that, staff is requesting approval of the DDB CRA cost share agreement and authorization for the chair and executive director to execute the agreement, subject to review and approval by the city attorney's office.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. 3, Thomas.
All right, number 3 is approving the fiscal year 2021 city services agreement between the city of Orlando and the CRA. This annual agreement outlines the terms under which the city will provide administrative and professional support to the CRA. Again, the FY 2021 amount for CRA services and support is $873,239. Advisory board does recommend approval, and staff is requesting that CRA approve the city services agreement and authorize the chair and the executive director to execute the agreement, subject to review and approval by the city attorney's office.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Stewart. Discussion, hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. All right, seniors first, Thomas.
Item 4 is approving Seniors First, Inc. funding agreement for FY 2021. This is the annual agreement with Seniors First for senior transportation service known as Senior Tran. You may recall that Senior Tran provides transportation to seniors in 11 different downtown senior housing complexes. The amount this year represents an increase of 2.48%, bringing the total to $48,837. The advisory board has recommended approval, and staff is requesting approval of the agreement with Seniors First, Inc., subject to review and approval by the city attorney's office, and authorization of execution of the agreement by the chair and the executive director.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Hill. Discussion, hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. All right, DOP agreement.
Item 5 is approving the Downtown Orlando, Inc., who does business as Downtown Orlando Partnership, or DOP, that annual funding agreement. CRA and DOP, actually the CRA provides DOP with funding on an annual basis for their support of our mission and for its assistance to downtown businesses and supporting the meeting of the redevelopment area plan goals. The funding amount remains unchanged as previous years at $25,000. Again, the advisory board is recommending approval. And if there are no questions, staff is requesting approval of the Downtown Orlando, Inc. funding agreement between the CRA and Downtown Orlando, Inc., or the DOP, subject to review and approval of the city attorney's office, and authorization for the chair and executive director to execute such funding agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Burns. Discussion, hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. All right, number 6.
Number 6 is approving the homeless outreach funding agreement. You may be aware that the Downtown Outlook Plan states that the CRA may support and fund outreach programs to assist homeless persons in regaining self-sufficiency and to help minimize the impacts of the homeless on residents and businesses within the downtown area. For several years, the CRA has been entering into agreement with Healthcare Center for the Homeless, or HCCH, to provide outreach services. We'd like to do that again this year, and to that end, the CRA is looking to enter into a 12-month funding agreement with HCCH as well as Homeless Services Networks of Central Florida, or HSN, to provide 2 homeless outreach specialists from the HOPE team, if you will, for the term of the fiscal year 2021, or October 1, 2020 through September 30th, 2021. Total expenditure is $108,879. The CRA component of that is a contribution of $64,000, which represents an approximately 3% increase over last year. HSN has agreed to contribute $35,000, with ACCH covering the remaining expenses. Again, the advisory board has recommended approval, and if there are no questions, staff is requesting approval of the homeless outreach funding agreement, subject to review and approval by the city attorney's office, and authorization for the chair and executive director to execute such agreement.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Mayor,
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Stewart. Commissioner Burns.
yes, as I previously stated at the council meeting, I serve as president and CEO of the Healthcare Center for the Homeless, in which this item is a funding agreement, as Thomas stated, for outreach services provided by 2 members of our HOPE team. For many years, the CRA has provided this grant funding to HCCH, and HCCH will again be receiving grant funding for the upcoming fiscal year under this agreement. I'd like to again note that none of my compensation will come from the funds received pursuant to the funding agreement, and that I have not participated in the matter in any way. I have filed the necessary Form 8B Memorandum of Voting Conflict with the city clerk, and will be abstaining from voting on this item, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Madam Clerk, you have the paperwork.
Yes, Mayor, we will get it.
Okay. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So the motion carries. All right, last one.
Item number 7 is approving the Starter Studio funding agreement. The DT Outlook, the Community Redevelopment Area Plan, addresses the need for business recruitment, development, and retention within the downtown redevelopment area, with a specific goal to support and incentivize business incubators within the area. Starter Studio will host 2 cohorts of up to 16 companies per year in its accelerator program, with a minimum of 4 companies in each cohort. They also provide seed funding to its second stage seed accelerator participants if they reach success metrics established by Starter Studio. The amounts of that seed funding range from $25,000 to $225,000 per business, with such investment being made in the form of a convertible note. The returns from convertible notes will be returned to Starter Studio and their seed fund to invest in other companies. Again, the advisory board has recommended approval, and staff is requesting that the CRA approve the Starter Studio funding agreement to contribute $125,000, which is an amount that remains unchanged from last year, to provide funding for operations of its accelerator program and a nonprofit seed fund, subject to review and approval by the city attorney's office, and authorize the chair and the executive director to execute the funding agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Stewart, second by Commissioner Hill. Discussion, hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, so the motion carries. Thomas, any further business comes for the CRA?
There's none, Mayor. Thank you.
Then we will stand adjourned. And we will reconvene the city council meeting, and that brings us to hearings, ordinances, second reading. Madam Clerk, number 1.
Ordinance number 2020-41, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending Chapter 58 Orlando City Code to exempt certain conference meeting and ballroom spaces within the downtown Orlando community redevelopment area east of Paramore Avenue from floor area ratio calculations, amending Chapter 58 Figure 1 to conform the floor area regulations in the AC-3A district to the regulations in the growth management plan, providing legislative findings and for severability, codification, correction of scrivener's error, and an effective date.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Is there anyone from the public that wants to testify on this, Madam Clerk?
We received a request from Luana Gelzer, but we do not see her in the queue.
Okay, any others?
No, sir.
Discussion among commissioners? Hearing none, in favor of the motion, indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Number 2, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance number 2020-44, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to the non-conforming uses, amending Chapter 58, Part 7D, and Chapter 65, Part 2D, Land Development Code to allow for the reestablishment of non-conforming uses with a conditional use permit, providing legislative findings and for severability, codification, correction of scrivener's error, and an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on this matter, Madam Clerk?
No, Mayor.
Discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carried.
Aye.
Number 3, Madam Clerk.
2020-45, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the city's adopted growth management plan to change the future land use map designation for approximately 7 acres of land generally located at the southwest corner of Conway Road and Crescent Park Boulevard from office low intensity to office medium intensity on the city's official future land use maps, providing for amendment of the city's official future land use maps, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, and an effective date.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Hill. Madam Clerk, anybody from the public?
We have Becky Wilson, who's available for any questions.
Questions for Ms. Wilson? No questions. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. All right, number 4.
Ordinance number 2020-46, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to citizen advisory boards for the city's planning division, amending Chapter 2 of the Code of the City of Orlando entitled Administration, and amending Chapter 65 of the Code of the City of Orlando entitled Officers, Boards, and Procedures to implement the recommendations of the City of Orlando Board Review Committee, providing for severability, codification, correction of scrivener's error, and an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. Anyone from the public on this, Madam Clerk?
No, Mayor.
Discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. All right, number 5, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance number 2020-47, an ordinance amending parts 1 and 4 of Chapter 67 of the Code of the City of Orlando entitled Definitions and Affordable Housing Advisory Committee, respectively, to change the definition of affordable, change certain terminology, change provisions regarding committee membership terms, meeting procedures, reporting, and amendments to the local housing assistance plan, and to delete certain provisions no longer necessary in accordance with the State Housing Initiatives Partnership Act, providing for severability and an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ortiz, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Madam Clerk, any members of the public that want to testify?
No, Mayor.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, that brings us to ordinances on first reading. Madam Clerk, let's start with the first one.
Ordinance number 2020-48, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, rezoning certain land generally located on the north side of East South Street between South Forest Avenue and South Glenwood Avenue, and comprised of 4.83 acres of land, more or less, from one family residential zoning district with a traditional city and aircraft noise overlay districts to planned development zoning district with the traditional city and aircraft noise overlay districts, providing a site plan and special land development regulations of the planned development district, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Hill. Madam Clerk, anybody to testify?
We've received one request from Javier Omana. Please state your name and address for the record. You have 5 minutes to speak.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Javier Romano from CPH. I'm here representing the property owner, and I'm here to thank staff and also to take any questions from the commissioners regarding this project. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for being here. I think we're probably good on this one. Discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, motion carries. All right, number 2, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance number 2020-49, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida relating to regional public facility identification signage, approving an amendment to the sign plan for the Amway Center and for the Geico Garage pursuant to section 64.320 of the Orlando City Code, providing for conflicts, penalties, severability, correction, scrivener's error, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Burns. Madam Clerk, anybody wanting to testify?
No, Mayor.
Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Number 3.
Ordinance number 2020-50, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the Plan Development Zoning District for the Crescent Park Plan Development, generally located west of Conway Road, between Crescent Park Boulevard and Winona Drive, comprised of approximately 14.5 acres, amending the Plan Development District's development plan and conditions of development, directing amendment of the official zoning map series, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Ortiz. Anyone from the public, Madam Clerk?
No.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, that's the official business for today. Let's take a 5-minute comfort break and we will get set up for general appearance. Do we have general appearances, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay, let's take a 5-minute break and we'll get set up for general appearance.